I think we're live. How's everybody doing? Oh, I'm back, baby. Here we go. Who do we got? Johnny Rock, Trolls, Bill, Tim, Coots, Retro Puffer, Wendell. Yeti Monsi, Ronnie, Herb, Matt, Deanna, how you doing? Super Lead, how's it going? Larry John, Curtis C, JMT Bill Scott, got Eric, Double R Guitar, I thought he said that already. Rockin' Rob 2004, Speaker, what's up, dude? Got Jeff. Wendell, if I didn't say Wendell already. Zoot. Kenny. John. I tell you, I've been digging this guitar. Almost has like an Eddie vibe. Because I think he was using maybe a treble booster. What's up, Michael? And Dave. And John. Like the color on this one? It's good. I tell you, it's a good looking guitar. Still got the plastique on it, of course, because I don't like to take the plastic off unless absolutely necessary. Sometimes I have to because it's hitting the strings, but I try not to. It's definitely P90s in there. The little bit, some are saying, not me, some are saying a little bit of 60 cycle hum. You can barely hear it. You hear that? If you strain. Yeah, it's tone plastic. I actually really like this neck too. It's a nice neck. No, I'm just gonna, nice neck. What's up, Jay Schaff? What's up, Ambrose? The name of the color, they got it, I think they're calling it seafoam green. Most likely because the seafoam green is unlikely to be trademarked. It's been around too long. Heck, that 60 cycle hum lets you know the P90s are working. Hit the boost. That comes with a box of tissues. So beautiful. Oh. Lurking under the hood. Speaking of that, did you see they came out with a Iommi pickup? I think Gibson got it. Let me see if I can. I guess it would be, you know, Gibson. Ugh, God, why? Why, God, why? Gibson has reimagined their website. And, you know, you just wish that they could have more of a lack of imagination. It's a, yeah. Not feeling it like the old one. That's the Iommi pickup. The Gibson Tony Iommi signature. Just announced. Got an email. Right there. Tony Iommi's iconic riffs, heavy tones, and massively influential albums created the blueprint for heavy metal and many other genres to follow. His career, like the man himself, is universally loved and revered. In the late 1990s, Gibson working with Tony to develop the first ever Gibson signature pickup. Now Gibson's first signature humbucker is back, the Tony Iommi humbucker, featuring an exclusive configuration of powerful ceramic and Alnico tube magnets. Special windings give an incredible tone and sustain that have made Tony's work with Black Sabbath instantly recognizable. Full shred tone, incredible sustain, and crystal clarity, even in full distortion. The Tony Iommi humbucker is fully wax potted and epoxied for absolute protection against unwanted feedback. The 4-conductor wiring allows for series, parallel, and split coil operation. And it can be put anywhere. Throw it on the back of the guitar. Right? Position any. I'll take that bet. How about behind the bridge? Wax spotted DC resistance 16K. Yeah. There you go. Tony Iommi. Is the $229 for a pair? No. That's one of 7 payments for one pickup. Don't get cheap on me, bro. Did Tony use this on his classic albums, or is this a new pickup? Well, I think they said in the late 1990s, Gibson worked with Tony to develop the pickup, so there's your answer. Yeah, Tony from Birmingham. Hello. So how'd your week go? It was pretty hot here to start the week. We were hot in the 80s. But then cooled off. And it got a little muggy for like a day. Like yesterday. And then thunderstorms blew through. And it was gorgeous today. It was so nice. How nice was it? It was so nice. I actually did the ABS sensors on the Ford Escape. On the Ford Escape. The hardest part was getting the friggin' wheels off. You know, it's like you're on your knees with a 4-way. You know how that goes. And I didn't want to. I should have just fired up the compressor, but I was just like, nah. I got a 4-way right here. I'll just do this. Not afraid of a little bit of work. And she had one bad lug. It was kind of crap. I was very lucky to get it off. And it's a 19 millimeter. I had to hammer a friggin' 20 millimeter onto the thing, and I was very lucky using a pipe to break that freaking lug off and finally get it to spin off. And I already ordered a new one because there's no way that thing's going back on. What year Escape? It is a 2016. So it wasn't too bad. I've had them here a little bit, but it's been too hot, and then it was a little rainy. And I said, the first nice day, I'll go do it. And so I was out there today. And, thank God for YouTube, because they showed how easy it was. I said, this isn't too bad. And the guy pointed out, there's a clip on one side. Make sure you press this little tab in, or else you're going to break it while you're trying to take it off, which was good advice. Because when I first looked at it, I was like, this thing isn't coming off. And I couldn't really see. I wound up getting a headlamp, flashlight, because it's so bright out, but not in the wheel well. So I wound up getting a headlamp and looking in there, and I said, you can see there's a tab. And I took a screwdriver in there. You have to, it wouldn't just do it with my fingers. Got a screwdriver in there. And, there it goes, wiggling out. Got it out. Got the new one in. And then I did, I just basically went around the car. I did the front, driver's rear, passenger rear, passenger front. And got them all in there, got everything going. But one of her tires only has 4 friggin' lug nuts. She's going to have to wait until Monday. I'll get the 5th lug nut. And you have to buy them in a pack of 20. which sucks. Now, they won't even sell you 5. They're like, nope, 20. 20's the minimum. But it was like $20. And they look a lot nicer. They had rave reviews. People are like, these are so much better than the aluminum capped shit that they put on these cars. So I'm excited to get those in and I probably would just change them all. And with the gun. And so I got it all going, got it all back together. I said, all right, well, let me see if I can get the light to go out. I've got one of the, what's that, the AB Dick machine? Some of you will get that joke. It's, to plug in and to remove the code. But I said, well, let me just see what happens if I take it, like, down the street and around the block for, like, a little bit. And, like, literally in about 100 feet, the light went out. I said, well, there you go. All set. Went around the block. I said, there you go. Done and done. So, it was nice. Yeah, the OBD2. There's always one stuck. Look, I think it's a rule. I think you're right. There's always one. And it's not that it was stuck. It's that the outer casing was, it's one of those aluminum casings over steel. So it was a little mauled. And I couldn't quite get the lug wrench to, fully get onto the lug. And as I was trying to do it, it just deformed it even more. And so what I wound up doing was it's a 19 millimeter, getting a 20 millimeter, which didn't want to go on either because now the thing was so deformed. So I used a 4-pound sledge and tapped that on and got that to get in real deep. And then once I had that on there nice and tight, unfortunately, that 20 millimeter was a 3/8 drive instead of a 1/2-inch drive. The 3/8 drive, ratchet is kind of shit. Right? They're kind of small for that kind of job. So I just had to stick a pipe on it. And very gently, come on, you son of a... Oh, thank you. Oh, there we go. Zit right off. Like once you get past a certain pounds per square inch, it's easy. So pretty happy about that. I'm just happy that that the friggin' light went out. Because, is anyone who's done any of this work, I think it's the sensor. Let me start with, how much are the sensors? $28 for all 4? Well, let me start there. And then let me see if that works. Because, it's just a goddamn, right, money pit. Throwing your money down a well. So you just don't want to, you start with the most obvious and relatively cheap. So I started with that and it worked. I'm pretty freaking happy. I think what it was is one was not sending out a signal. One was broken or, it finally lost its magnetism or some shit. So when it doesn't send a pulse off the wheel, that's telling the system the wheel isn't rotating. You have one wheel that's locked up. So it would start to pulse the brakes. And then it would go, oh, wait a second. No, that's not right. And it would let off. But when you first started to drive the car, you could feel it almost like pulsing. It's like, what are you doing? And it was because it thought one of the wheels was locked up. One or more. Replaced out the sensors. Bing, bang, bong, boom. All done. Those lugs. Those friggin' aluminum caps. Those suckers. Oh, there's steel in there somewhere. So, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Sometimes the tone wheel cracks from the rust. There you go. Yeah, right. Of course, it could just be dust. You know what? A lot of them were like, oh, when I took the sensor out, I wound up cleaning up around the area. I was like, what are you talking about? But it's very rusty in there. A lot of rust flakes. So what I wound up doing was sort of just taking the screwdriver and cleaning away from the pit. And then I had my shop vac out there, and I just took the shop vac and just stuck it over the whole thing. It was like pulling any debris out. When I went in there again with the helmet, with the headlamp on, it was pristine, ready to go. So it was pretty good. Has a battery against the firewall on the driver's side. Take off the windshield wipers to get to the battery. Oh, what a pain in the ass. My wife has a battery. I think she's got two, but she's got one in the ass end of that car because it's one of those, you stop at a light and the car goes off and then you let off on the brake and the car starts itself back up again, which I can't stand. But it's a way to, it's a way that they can get a certain mileage number that they want, right? A certain MPG number. And so it's got this giant ass battery in the back, which I think they had to replace as a part of the damage to her car. And I swear that was like an extra like $600. It's crazy. Exactly. Goddamn ABS master. I'm going to master that ABS. I'm the abs master. Station wagon. There's a battery in the way back. Yeah, that's a thing. If you have that auto stop at the light, and your car shuts off, and you let off on the brake, and it starts back up before you even can get your foot to the because I would pull up to lights and I'd hear the guy next to me's car start up. I'm like, oh shit! Thank God that thing started. I don't even realize that that's a thing because my car's so old it would never have such a thing like that. Of course, now I got a hybrid. And that thing just turns itself off whenever it feels like it. It's like, no, now you're all electric. No, now we're putting the engine back on again. It's like, it really is weird. Lug nut was so tight you had to have the wheel cut off. Yeah. Well, the other thing you can try and do is hit it with heat, but a lot of times you destroy the rim. You're gonna destroy the rim anyway. Trying to get it off with heat. But sometimes we would do that. We'd hit it with a freaking torch, get that thing glowing red hot. Yeah. Now you're coming off. Right? Doesn't it? Right, John? It's got to kill the starter motors, but they swear it doesn't, that they have these new, like super high-end starters that go like, a billion friggin' starts or something. I don't know. I'm with you. I've owned a few cars with crappy starters. If you've ever gone under the car and yelled for your girlfriend to hit the friggin' key while you're tapping it with a hammer. Hold on, yeah, okay, hit it. Up, there it goes. Been there. Wait, no, hold on. We gotta let the friggin' starter cool down. It's swollen. Hold on, you stupid thing. I think that was in the Mercury Grand Marquis, the old cop car. Yeah, aluminum melts with that kind of heat. That's true. But I'm thinking of the old steel rims. We used to hit them with the hind. So annoying when you're waiting right to turn into a busy road and your goddamn engine turns off. I know. When we were in Germany, you know, what we noticed is that we were in a van, and every time we would stop, and there were frequent stops, you know, it would turn off. The air conditioning wasn't working, right? It wouldn't really work. And so we just, a lot of them have an override button. You just hit the override button and it never turns off. Now, it's supposed to, and my wife's car is pretty good at this. If it senses that you're in stop and go traffic, in other words, you take your foot off the brake too many times in so many seconds, and they're not going to turn the car back off again. Because they're like, you're in stop and go traffic. And that's the end of that. And a lot of times, if you're ice cold, they won't turn it off. They wait until the car has reached a certain warmth. And if it's in the peak of summer and you got the air conditioner running, then it won't turn off either. So hers has got some pretty good logic to it. You know, it's not bad. That's a Caddy. It's a Cadillac. My friggin' Lexus SUV, even though it's an '07, it is all over the place. It is no rhyme or reason. That thing just hit 171,000 miles. And I tell you, some of those miles, we just went up to Maine this week. So we were looking for a nice day. It was like the first nice, you know, it was hot to start. And I said, well, you know what, maybe we'll go up on like Thursday. Because the last time we went up on a weekend, it was busy. And I said, you know, we probably should go up on a weekday. Probably going to be a little quieter. So we went up Thursday. And it was crazy. We like to go to this Maryland Farms. The food there is like outstanding. And they've had a lot of problems getting help. And they posted on Tuesday welcoming our new cook. One of our new, I think there was only, I swear to God, there's only a handful of people that work in there, like 3 people, 4 people. And they had a new cook. And they announced her on Tuesday, and they're closed on Mondays. So Tuesday was their, I think Tuesday was her first day, or Wednesday. Let me take a look at the calendar here real quick. Tuesday was her first day. And we went up on Thursday and went there and had breakfast. It was delightful. And there was a bit of a wait, and they were really short-staffed, but it was all fine. Cut to yesterday in the morning. Like, they post on Facebook, because I follow them on Facebook, you know, due to circumstances beyond our control, we don't have enough staff today, and we're not going to be open. We're closed for the day. And it was like, oh, no. Later that same day, that night, they posted, due to circumstances beyond our control, we're now closed for the 2025 season. We will see you in 2026. They open up on the first week in March. I'm like, oh, my God. We literally went there on Thursday. They closed on Friday. They're not opening again until friggin' March. I was like, this is crazy. At least we got our breakfast. It was outstanding. It was awesome. And I was like, oh, man. I feel like they have help issues. They can't get enough help. And, you know, it was just crazy. So they went from, and the building's up for sale, which, you know, who knows what's going on there. But it's like one of our favorite places. Like, that place is so friggin' good. And, yeah, it feels like either they're gonna go out of business, or they're just over it. People don't go out of business because of lack of. There were plenty of people there who wanted to go there and eat. It wasn't for lack of business. It's just that it was hard to get help, and I just think that maybe the people who owned it, like my wife said, you don't even know what happened. It could be that somebody who owned it has passed away, and now it leaves the whole thing in disarray. And someone else is trying to do it, but they really can't. Like, that person is really the one. It happens in business all the time. So, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a bummer if we lose them, because the food there was just so freaking good. We found that place because we went to the Rachel Carson, like, federal land preserve, which has a trail cut through it. With a really solid, I swear to God, they go around with a compactor and compact that, and it's got almost like a little bit of a gravel mix in it, and they really keep that up so that you don't have to worry about like walking through there and getting it muddy or anything like it. It's really good, and they have all these sort of like docks where you can go and look over. There's like some wetlands and marshland. There's a lot of wildlife down there. It's like really cool, and it's about a 1 mile walk. So, you go in, you do it. I swear to God, it's a loop. It just comes right back from where you started. You go back to your car. Okay, let's go to breakfast. So we were going over to what's right next to that, and like right around the corner is the Maine Diner. But the Maine Diner, the goddamn line was out the door. And so, of course, my wife is like, beep, borp, boom. And the next thing she's like, oh, hold on, there's a cafe like right down this road. You go down here, we take a right, we go up here, there should be a cafe. And we went there, and holy shit, that place was, we had been to the Maine Diner before. I'm like, this blows away the Maine. This is unbelievable. This is so friggin' good. And we agreed, we're like, oh my God, we got to go back here again. So every time we go up there, we try to stop there for breakfast. And, yeah, it's tricky for them to get help. They're always, looking for help. When we went, that day we went, the girl who was the waitress for us, it was her first day. She was fresh out of college. It was in like late May. And classes just ended, and she just took a summer job there waiting tables. And I think that's the problem. They're closed in the winter. They don't keep staff long term, and they have to restaff like every spring, except for the chef. But I think that chef, he split, or he died. I think the guy who came up with all those killer recipes, the guy who was French trained, a lot of those were French. There was a French meat pie. There was a lot of crepes. Right, it had there was the Monte Cristo, right? There's like a few things that definitely had like a French element to it, and goddamn it, that dude didn't know his shit. Really, really good, and what a hidden jewel. And I feel like they're in trouble. And like the restaurant business is super tough. It really is. It really is. And it's a seasonal area, and they're not on the main drag, right, with all the other, like with the Maine Diner and, Bob's Lobster Claw or whatever, right? That place is all lined with restaurants. The Egg and I. I'll tell you, the place on that strip, on that run, when you go up there, where you can't find a parking spot and there are cars driving around the parking lot, is this guy Rick's, like Rick's Diner. When you look online and you look at the food, it looks pretty pedestrian, right? I don't, but maybe it's really cheap. I don't know, but nothing like Maryland Farms. Oh my God, that Maryland Farms shit. First time I went there, I got that French meat pie, friggin' Eggs Benedict. And I was like, oh my God, this is, my wife was like, what? This place is unbelievable. We were going to get the lobster. They make a lobster Benedict. But we didn't We did. Every place. You know, it's a tourist trap, that whole strip. So they say if you want good lobster rolls and good clams, you go down like to Kittery. And there's a place down there, I think it's Bob's Clams. What happened to Bob? Died in 1957. Okay. Yeah, Wells, Maine. It's nice. Yeah. Oh my God, we were beside ourselves. And you know, they have this wonderful. It is a cafe because it has this big outdoor seating area, and people love to go there and eat outside. The building is up for sale right now. I think it's like $675. My wife was like, we could easily sell this and cover that, cost, because houses down here are stupid expensive. And but I said, no, that's I don't think the place has heat. I think they heat it with those fireplaces. It certainly doesn't have air conditioning because they kept closing due to excessive heat. I'm like, there's no attic, there's no basement. It's sprawling, but it's got big giant rooms with no dividers. It's got latrines for bathrooms. There's no shower. So you'd have to sink a couple of $100,000 into that, just to make it, a single residence. Comes with 2.5 acres. But I said no. This is for someone who wants to. It's his own commercial. Someone should just get it and quite frankly, buy the recipes and just continue Maryland Farms and do that, Oh, thank you, the Metal Edge. One of the most humblest of all the guitar YouTubers out there. I literally trust what you say. Well, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. What's up, Black Shoe Bear? I was in Maine in the 1990s on business, spent some time in Kittery and Freeport. Yeah. So Kittery is like the most southern coastal town, right? And then it's, I want to say York, and then probably Ogunquit, and then Wells. So if you stay on the highway, you got to pay a toll. But if you get off at exit 7, which is in York, you can just snake up Route 1 and avoid that toll, which is what we usually do. It's $8. It's $4 up and $4 back for that toll. So we skirt around it, and we usually go up 1, go up to like the Rachel Carson Preserve, do that loop, go and get breakfast. Oh, this last time we went, we did a pre-order. You had to do it 2 days early. We did a pre-order for donuts at Congdon Donuts. And they did not disappoint. That was, those were some serious old-fashioned jumbo, like really homemade. Like, I would say Cane's is probably a little nicer, but not much. It's up in Cane's territory in terms of like a homemade, handmade donut. It's up there. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's $8. Yeah, it's $4 each way, which kind of sucks. And don't forget, we still have to pay a toll to get through New Hampshire. I don't even know what that is. I'm assuming it's at least a couple of bucks. Oh yeah, the ways up there are ways to get around, but it is a lot faster up until about York, just to stay on the highway. To get off at Portsmouth, I think there's a lot of traffic around there, to try to work your way around. And there are bridges you can go over, other than that main bridge to go over that connects New Hampshire to Maine. There are, other bridges you can cross over. to avoid it a little bit. But man, it's a lot longer. We just stay on the highway and just cruise, doing 65, 75 miles an hour. Just zip, zip. Have I done backdoor donuts on the vineyard? You know, I've never been to the vineyard. Crazy as that sounds. We were going to go. We were going to rent mopeds. We had all these plans. Yeah, we'll go to the vineyard. Never got around to going. Never been to the vineyard. Never been to Nantucket. Had friends who lived on Nantucket, but never been there myself. As crazy as that sounds. I want to visit the shops in Kittery. Oh yeah, they have the outlets, right? And again, very smart of the state to put them right down on the edge of the state, so you get people to come up, not just from New Hampshire, but also from Massachusetts, to go right up and just go there and go to the outlets. They have a similar thing in Massachusetts down on the Rhode Island border, the Waltham outlets, right? Rentham? Waltham? Rentham. I know, no mopeds. Vineyard is way better than Nantucket. Yeah, I can imagine. I gotta think that some of those places are restricted because rich people. So we should probably talk about that Boss pedal, huh? I'm sure you've seen this. What the hell was that called? The plug out, which, if you know about their synths, Roland plug outs have been around for probably at least 10 years, maybe longer, where it was basically you would get a keyboard that was mapped to computer software, and you could buy different software that would be automatically mapped to your keyboard, this new plug out system, which but you got to drag around a computer if you want to hear anything, because the keyboard makes no sound. Kind of a weird thing, but this is the sort of the same. This is the Music Radar. The PX1. Yeah. The plug out effects. So, I think, I'm sure you've seen, there's been a ton of criticism about it by people that aren't reviewing it, that are basically saying, hey, it's a mono effect, you're not even doing a multi-effect. It's $250 frickin' dollars. It comes with a bunch of effects, but more effects won't be automatically delivered. So, like in the future, as you develop more effects, I just get them for free. You're going to sell them to me for like $10 an effect. And if you work out to like all 250 of their effects, it works out to like another couple of grand. If you wanted like the full, they'd have to bundle it to save, if it was full price, $10 an effect, they have like 250 effects. That's $2,500. But it already comes with, 6 or 12 or some shit? 16? 16 models in total. 8 effects are always installed, plus a further 8 user-definable presets. 16 presets? I mean, you can't even be serious. It's 2025, bro. This feels like, I don't know. It feels a little underwhelming, especially at its price point. I think if this thing was $99, people would be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Because you can get a pretty awesome multi-effect unit that sounds pretty freaking good for under $100. And so you're like, what am I doing? You can only play one effect at a time. I've got to like buy into this crap. It's like, and past the and you know what? This is what they're gonna. This is what this is it. This is the marketing right there. See this shit? Genuine sound. That's what they're gonna. That's what they're pushing. You're like, yeah, but everyone else is just a copy. There's only one boss. I don't know. I got some boss copies in my THU software that I think sound pretty damn good. So, you're not the only one that can make a good sounding, distortion box or tremolo. And sure, it's like we're getting genuine sound, but not really, because those pedals are real pedals that really exist in the real world. And so by definition, yours is an interpretation, a digital interpretation, an interpretation that a lot of other places can do, especially now that we have modeling that uses a tone print or a profile or, whatever you want to call it, a convolution capture. They're starting to get, those captures are getting so good, they're starting to do things where they're, capturing sort of like keyframes and like really getting, they're capturing like 10 spots on the gain knob. And so as you move through those captures, it's really working, pretty damn good. So it's hard to, it's hard to look at this at $249. Again, if it was $79 or $99, you'd be like, oh, that's cool. But $249? There was a pedal that just came out recently. I forget if it was Moore, one of those companies. It was like $79. It uses that open source, capturing software there, and it sounds friggin' amazing. And it's like literally under $100. And so you look at this and you just, now again, purchasing is optional. Let's not get out the pitchforks and torches just yet. Yeah, all you have to do is vote with your wallet and say, yeah, I'm gonna pass on this one, and we'll see if the price comes down or if they change their tune and future effects will just be free. But man, can you imagine if you bought a guitar and you had to buy like playing time on it? Right? You had to subscribe to like play your guitar. How many hours you want to play that thing? We can get you into a package where the guitar is playable for up to, 2 hours a day if you buy this package. I mean, can you imagine that shit? That's where they all want to go. They all want to go to a subscription model where you pay for access. But we'll see. We'll see. It feels like it's, again, other than the reviewers are all like, it's amazing. But I think there's a lot of people that are like, $250. It's mono. I think your GP8 was a better unit. At least that was a multi-effects. Right? Did it in blocks, but at least it was something. That's from 1988. I think you're right. I think that the price will probably come down. Yeah, or subscribe for the neck pickup. Can we get you into a dual pickup package? What are you talking about? Yeah, well, first of all, you're going to have to activate it. Activate your usage subscription. I'm just waiting for TVs and electronics all to get to that. How much you want to use that phone? Get you in a subscription model. I'd imagine it'd lock it down like Tonex. Yeah, I think that's what they all do. They spend an inordinate amount of time protecting their own IP. They're mainly in the IP protection business. The other thing that came out this week, I got an email on it. Well, you know what? It might be. What is it? Yeah. It's like I think I called it an Echo Vibe, but I think it's the Roto-Echo. This thing. It comes in two colors, yellow, which is limited and already sold out, and the black, which is available for like, I don't know, $300, I'm going to guess. I'm guessing $300. Let's see, $400? $279. What a bargain. Select a format. Standard, add to cart. Limited, sold out. So, yeah, Third Man Hardware. You use your foot. It's kind of like the old MXR. Remember, they used to have the foot, the rubber covers, right? The foot covers for the knobs, so you could turn the knobs with your toe turners. Nice. Sweet. It's mono though, but of course that guy. Of course it's mono. Not me. I'm stereo all the way. Exactly, you're going to be on stage. And your boss pedal's going to shut down for non-payment. You're going to have to rush to your phone to like reactivate your subscription and pay a hefty late fee. Welcome to America. Don't give them ideas. Never run a wet, dry, wet rig. I never have. Run stereo rigs, but never wet, dry, wet. Technically, it's actually pretty easy to do in the software, because you could just run a mono amp straight down dead center, and then run a stereo amp wet in both the left and the right. So technically kind of that, but through a different means. I think that's it. Or is it? Probably minor. Yeah. Who's the black sheep? This or that. This or that. Yeah, it's kind of like a diminished drawn night. I think they do it with a an acoustic bass, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's sampled. I have been digging this guitar. I haven't played a ton of guitar this week, but when I've been playing this guitar, you know, the neck on this is very, very comfy. Really, really like the neck on this. Super comfy. Super, and it's not even the smallest neck. And, you know, I usually like the smaller necks, but it's got a little bit of girth to it, and it's still very playable. It's very round. I think I like that. You know, it's got a breakaway pretty quickly. It's not a V though. Yeah, it's pretty good. Lava AI amp. I don't know about it. Eli. Yeah, you have one play left. Go to boss reload card before next use. Exactly. It's DivX all over again. Have I had a Luke here yet? I don't think I have. I don't think I had a Luke. I've had a Majesty. I've had the Stingray, obviously, the Cutlass. We did the St. Vincent one there. Will ads be run on non-paid models? You wish. You're still going to get ads even if you pay. You're still getting the HIMS ad. Just go to ro.com to learn more. Exactly, the Effect and Use, sponsored by Blue Chew. What's the other one that you see a lot of? Like Cybergenics or some stupid thing. Some horrible, completely unregulated friggin'. You can thank Orrin Hatch on that shit. So they all have to say all natural formula. I do like this guitar a lot. So the other day I had, let's see if I can pull this. Can I do that? Yeah, I tell you, they got their interface a little bit better now. Okay, that's a little easier. Now, where was I? I started to go through and just like take some of the, patches I have, which I never go through because I just think they sound kind of crappy. And so what I've been doing is just going through and trying to punch them up a little bit. So like here's that feels like something I might have already. Oh, that's not me. That's definitely not me. Yeah, let me find one that's got a little bit. What's this? Perfect example. So I take this, which is not bad. That's a blues breaker. But I'm not crazy about the distortion. So usually I bring the gain down and the volume up. And then bring that wet up a hair. Bring that time up a hair. Even bring that up a little more. That sounds good. Right, and sort of just pumping it up a little bit. Now it has a chorus, but I got the effect down. You turn the effect up. Sometimes it can be a bit much. That's the chorus too. And then here it is where it was, which is more like a 50-50 mix with just dry. So you can hear it way down the center a bit more. Yeah, this is still THU. Versus it's almost, here it is at 50%. That's slightly high, actually, right there. You see, you know, and when I'm just taking a sound and then I'll save it because, you know, I feel like I've punched it up a little bit. So what is this? That looks so. Okay, so first of all, we have a problem with noise. So what I'll do is there a yeah. I'm gonna stick a quiet box in front of it. It wants to go cuckoo. It's also kind of a little low on the output. And it's dead. Let's add a little bit of reverb. I'm going to just back that percentage. Better. It's also too bright. Bring that presence back a bit. Punch that mid and bass up a hair. It's getting there. It's getting better. A little bit more. I'm sure this would sound a lot different if I had a humbucker going into it, but it's the guitar I have. So we're getting there. The only other thing I might add, just because of this sound, I could throw a quick digital delay. Of course, everything's coming down the center, which I don't like. So make it stereo. There you go. But it's almost too much delay. Got to bring that down. There you go. It's like a distant echo. All right. I think it's still a little bright, though. It's a little better. Better. It's called metal drive. There's only so much you can do with that. Okay. Well, that's is that a Bogner? It's Bogner, Ubner. Some of these are just too. What do we got that's a little bit more? We could do, like the Friedman. That's nice. Little low. Bring that gain up just a hair. All right, that's workable. What has it got? Man, every single one of these has a goddamn parametric EQ on it. Why? Like, literally, whoever put these patches together, what's up with the parametric EQ, brah? That's pretty good, huh? Bring that back a little bit. That's not bad. Bring that back, though. And then we could probably bring in a... It just feels metal. Gotta bring that effect down now. Not bad. Now they have one in here. Yeah, see these ones, I think these can really benefit from, they just don't, like that breakup isn't great. It's almost better. I think that sounds better. It's still pretty low on the gain. And this is with the volume all the way up. And then this is with the... Not bad. What's this? Can't hear it. It's got a lot of effects going. What is this, a phaser? All right, a phaser, a delay, and a reverb. I have no notes. That's actually pretty good. Other than I had to turn the main volume up. I don't mind parametric EQ, but it's like literally on every single patch. That Now it's feeling a bit more like a crutch. You know, once in a while, it's a neat trick. Every single patch, it's like you're not happy with the way that amp sounds, and you're parametric EQing like every single patch because you're not happy with the way the thing sounds. Why are you parametering? Like, in other words, you have a bank of patches, and it's supposed to represent a certain amp, and every single one has a parametric EQ on it? No. THU one time, I think it was David Wallerman who did it. He made a bunch of patches. He didn't have his input set right. It was so low in volume, he put a compressor on every single patch and cranked it up. When I went through it with my normal volume, it was way over saturated. And it's like that internal digital distortion. It sounded like crap. I'm like, why is there a compressor on every single one? And he said, that was actually me. I wrote those patches, and I just had a problem setting my input level. I'm like, sure. He's like, so the only way around it was to add a compressor on every single one. Okay. But I have my input set correctly. He's like, yeah. Oh, man. No, that sounds good. I have no notes on that one. I thought that sounded really good right out of the gate. Before I move away from it, though, I am going to save it just in case I did make a change. The only thing I think I might have done was I think I just took the overall volume and just raised it up. This is called Riff and Drive. Again, they're just so dry. So anemic. You know, add a little bit of atmosphere. Make the room a little bigger. That's a little too much. Let me bring that back. Hold on. There it is. Yeah, see? Again, it's got a parametric EQ on it, though. There's the parametric EQ off. There it is on. Mid-push. That's on. That's off. That's on. I'm not hearing a huge difference. That was on. This is off. He's got everything set to like 0 dB. There's almost no gain on anything. That's weird, man. You're weird, man. All right, what else do we have in here? What can we... the Tran 30, I think that's the Transatlantic. Is that Mesa Boogie, or is that Divide? Is Transatlantic? Okay, a little low. That's with a... I like that better. It had an SD1 on. You know, a Boss yellow box, which is clearly a tone shaper. Way more bass. How is it with the gain? Bring that volume back a hair. Not bad. A little too pushed. I like it with the distortion pedal off. I don't like that mono. It's almost too much. Better. What do I have it set to? 10%, 10.4%. So 90% direct and only 10% of the delay. Same with the reverb. I'm going to bring the reverb up just a hair. Does THU have a Dr. Z? I think they do. Hold on, I just want to save this patch. If I make a change and I like the change, let me look through and see if there's a... They might not call it a Dr. Z. It's like a Dr. P. Dr. Double D. Anything here that looks like it says Dr. Z on it anywhere? Well, there is one called the DZ. What's a DZ? What is it? Mass 38? I don't think that's... It might not be what I think it is. Anything else? Dr. Z. That one was just called DZ. But it might not be. It could be a different brand. I'm just going through the list here, seeing if anything sticks out. As a Dr. Z. Anything at all? Not really. A lot of Bogner. EVH. Like Soldano. And of course, Marshall, but they can't call it Marshall. It's Brit this and Brit that. More Soldano. Let me see here. Fender. A lot of Fender. Vox. We could check out a little bit of Vox here. Anything Dr. Z, because I wouldn't mind checking out a Dr. Z. You know, if they have one. Not really seeing one. Though it could be embedded in one of these and I don't even know it. Let me check out that Vox. This is, what is this? That's the one that was on. That's with the gain around 11 o'clock. That's at 1 o'clock. Little woolly. Not bad. Bring that up a hair. And bring this up. Down a hair. Again, these effects are already there. I'm just turning them on. Like they have a chorus, but it's way down. You know, they keep the level really low. It's almost like a softener. When it's off. It is. It's almost like a little bit of a softener. That delay is too much, though. Much better. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm going to save it. That's a Vox. Yeah, anything? No Dr. Z's. We can go back, and there was one that did say something about Z in the title. Let me see what the heck that was. Well, what in the what? That's another AC. Nice bass though, huh? I haven't adjusted the patch. That is straight up. All right, where the hell was that? Where the hell was that? Probably in the D's, because it was like a, yeah, DZ. I think this is like 3 Maz. I don't know. Not bad. They call that a they call it an MAZ. I'm gonna turn the gain down and the volume up so it cleans up. All right, let me turn the volume down and the gain up. It's definitely fuzzy. Let me bring that back a little bit. And they put an SD1 in front of it. There's so many pedals, I mean, so many patches that have an SD1 in the front with absolutely no drive on. And what it's to do is to shape the sound to pull some of that flubbiness out, right? Right. Versus you turn the pedal on, way more mid-pushed. Yeah, what's this? It's the same amp with greenbacks. Again, a lot of times the volume's just way off. bassy, huh? That's in that DZ Maz. Meh. A little dry. That up a hair. Bring mid up just a hair. Not bad, a little bright. Not bad. Bright though, huh? Damn. It's up there. Meh. Again, so many of those just so dry. They have effects, but they don't turn them on. I think that already sounds better. It's because they keep the reverb and the delay up. Gotta bring that effect down the hair, though. Much better. Not bad. I'll save that one. I feel like this one gotta cut those repeats down. Gotta cut that. Yeah, it's way too high. Better. Now I can bring the repeats back up just a hair. Much better. Yeah, that's workable. Gotta bring that output just down the hair. Was hearing a little bit of digital distortion. Yeah, I'm gonna save that one too. Anyway, there were some other ones I was working on with a nope. So this is a an EVH 5150, but it's on the blue channel. But when you hit it's really reactive to that boost. And then we can hit the old doubler. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, that's nice. Let me just bring that wet up just a hair. Have a good one, Jeff. Exactly, it's in doubly now. Not bad. Exactly, the Doubly Brothers. Which amp would I play at a live show? I'd stick with something with a lot of mid push because it would just cut through the mix more. You got to be real careful. Things will sound great at home, scooped, like this patch, right? Right, but it's going to sound way too muddy, you know. Way too scooped in a live situation. You need something like way more. That's a little bit, not really though. A little better. You really do need something that's really sort of mid. You know, like that. That's a Carvin. Check. You're good. You're a little sharp. Oh, no, a little bit. A little bit. So I think I'd go with something more like that Carvin, just because it's so friggin' mid-pushed. You know, you got to know your lane in a live situation because you have a bass. You have a bass player, right? So you're supposed to fit in a mix at a certain point. And, you know, if you're trying to be too many things at once, and you have too much mud going on and not enough mid-push, it really does get lost in the mix. It does not sound good. It's crazy how easily, you know, it is. I'll say that when I saw Bon Jovi, you know, Shanks and Phil X had those, you know, Les Pauls going. And it was a really cutting, sort of mid-pushed Marshall. I'm sure, you know, Phil X is using this Friedman, but it really cut through the mix and sounded so free. I was shocked at how good those guitars sounded in such a big, such a big room. It goes to show you just how far PA technology has come. All right, I gotta turn though. I wouldn't mind checking out a Valatin, and they should reach out to me. But this cleans up nice, huh? Hit the boost. Writes itself. What's up, Aljon? Good to see you, buddy. Ooh, got a touch of the mixer elbow. It's part of the job they don't tell you about. Ever reviewed a Spira guitar? I don't think so. Doesn't ring a bell. These pickups sound pretty good, you know? Do. So, got one thing off the plate with the anti-lock braking system sensors. So one thing after another, man. Oh, a sister company of Jet guitars? Okay. Be a great music producer, have a great ear for awesome tone. Well, you know, I know what I like, and you know, it might be mired in sort of 80s stuff, but you know, it's something. Although I will say that sometimes I will play a type of sound that I never play. For example, with like a fuzz pedal. And be like, you know what? That's actually pretty good. I could see that being used. There's a few situations where that would really work, you know. Not all the time, but in select, you know, sort of situations, I could, you know, going for a certain vibe. It really does work. You know, fuzzes can be, you know, it's just like a wall of sound. It really is a certain vibe, without a doubt. Hey, what's up, Ball Shredder? Good to see you, man. I saw your action figure collection. They all seem to be you. Not bad once you open the jets. Not a bad tone, considering, you can get it down to that if you just back off a little bit. So I was going through my the final round of the CDs. God, I threw so many CDs away last week after running them through the chipper shredder, of course. But I found a few oldies but goodies. Let me regale you with my vintage CDs. You all ready for this? Of course, Microsoft games compatible with Windows 95. Windows 95 games. So, yeah, that is 30 years old. And, of course, it goes with Windows 95. Sure. But if you just, if you really want to get old and nostalgic, we have a Windows NT workstation. I believe that's 4.0. Yeah, 4.0. Windows NT 4 workstation. And finally, Windows 98. Oh, yeah. So many memories. Exactly, now with USB support. Larry, I was certified in NT server. I was certified in NT workstation, Windows 2000 server, and Windows 98. I remember so many people going for their, CCE, Cisco Certified Engineer. Yeah, Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, but before MCSE, which at first, that used to be a joke. I should have just got MCSE when it was like so easy to get. They really changed how that all went down. No, the Cisco one, because you could write your own friggin' ticket with the Cisco one. But of course, like anything, I don't know that Cisco is where it was 30 years ago. In the late 90s, Cisco was it. Cisco was like just on fire. And there was the whole new world of friggin' TCP/IP, and we moved away from Net Baba Booey. Net Booey. And what was the, oh my God, I always forget it, but it was that there was a private company that pretty much had, I always forget it, but there was was it Net Server? Oh God, I forget now. But there was one company that pretty much owned like networking and netware, and man, God, they were, not Token Ring. No, I think, was it Novell? Yeah, netware, Novell. Yeah. God, man, they owned everything, and then TCP/IP pretty much killed them. We talk about a friggin', yeah, netware IPS XPX. I think you're right. Novell netware. Yeah, that was it. They owned it. They were writing their own meal ticket. They were doing so friggin' well. And then Windows NT came out, and they said, yeah, it's now the internet, and we're all using TCP/IP. And the death knell of that friggin' company. Friggin' death knell of Novell, man. Oh my God. They were riding high, man. They were I want the yacht with the Porsche already on it. And yeah, man, how fortunes changed so quickly in that industry. Novell they were just it. And then all of a sudden, they weren't. Does it rupt? No, it disrupts. Yeah, Novell was killed by domain services by Microsoft, pretty much. Pretty much once Microsoft embraced TCP/IP as their standard, networking protocol, it was game over. Novell was good. Novell had it was a great net. It was secure. It was fast. Had all kinds of great stuff. But TCP/IP was the talk of the internet. That was your internet connection. And they're like, so why are we doing anything other than TCP/IP? And that was the end of that. Transmission Control Protocol. Internet Protocol? Oh, I still have the doubler on. See, here you hear the stereo effects better. Because the guitar is mono, but the effects are stereo. We're for an organization that converted Novell to Microsoft, yeah. It was quite the business. See ya. Sorry. Yeah, you were hot. Now you're not. Yeah, crazy how fortunes change. Really, really, just insane. Do-do-do. I know this tonight flew by. This is the first night in a long time that I'm smelling someone's got a fireplace going, because it's that cool out. You guys got any plans for the weekend? Not really doing much here. We might do a little barbecue. Let's see. It's going to be beautiful weather for us here. Not a lot, really, any rain. Group-wise, oh my God. Group-wise, damn. I can't wait for the cooler weather. Yeah, it's starting to creep in here. We're officially in the oscillation where we get, you know, a few days in the 80s and then a few days in the 70s, and now we're going to seesaw back and forth as we seesaw into the friggin' winter. Yeah, could be the mixer. could be the mixer burning. Ah, yeah, right. The good old days of chasing certs. So I got a video coming out Monday. I haven't shot it yet. I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to shoot it. I'll shoot it tomorrow. And that'll be Monday's Guitar of the Week. And then I think it's time for a new round. I got to reach out and hopefully they're in. I pretty much haven't talked to them since the first week in August. So 104, man, that's hot. We were in the 84, 85 recently, but now we're back down. The high today might have been 75. Much, much cooler. Yeah, days of HVAC going from heat to cool in a matter of hours. Yeah, and now the single system, right? Heat pump. Pumps one way when you want the heat and the other way when you want air conditioning. It's pretty crazy. Literally the same system. Time for the EVH MIJ Wolfgang signature. You know, you're not that far. No, it's not that guitar, but you're not that far off. How's that? How's that for a tease? Have a good one, speaker. Talk to you soon, buddy. All right, guys, it is officially 9 p.m. It is time to wrap it up. Thanks for everyone for hanging out tonight. Super extra thanks. I remember someone contributed earlier, and I really appreciate that. And so super extra special thanks. And, of course, brofist to my mod squad. Hashtag brofist, hashtag mod squad. And hashtag Ben Coombs at Christmas. We're having a Coombsy Christmas. All right. You guys have a wonderful week. Check out my video on Monday. Have a wonderful Labor Day if you're in the U.S. and you have Monday off and you're going to be home hitting the barbecue. It's pretty much the end of summer. It's the anti-Memorial Day. Memorial Day is the official kickoff of summer, and Labor Day is pretty much the official end of it. So here we are at the end of summer. And you guys have a wonderful week. Check out the video on Monday. And we will do it all again in a week. And there you go. No, you rock. All right. I'm off. Later.